joining us this morning. Hi, everybody. My name's Kay Adams. Mike Garofolo, nice enough to wake up and join us this morning. Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, all here. Gerald McCoy joining our show in just a little bit. And head coach of the New York Giants, Joe Judge, will be joining our program this morning. So we're very excited about those guests. We'll give you guys all the latest on the playoff pictures, all right here and right now. It's time for the Lead Block.
Lead Block.
Garofolo, let's start with you. We heard the news yesterday out of Washington about their quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. What went down? What's the latest?
Dwayne Haskins caught on social media partying in a strip club on Sunday night after that loss to Seattle, in which he did not play great, at least early in the game. You know, we spent so much time talking about Haskins and violating COVID protocols. What about the club, by the way? Let me just throw that in there. Anybody thinking about the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic? Anyway, with regard to Haskins, since this is Good Morning Football, not Good Morning Strip Clubs, we'll talk about that. Haskins, Ron Rivera going to talk today, and I would assume that he is going to say that there's discipline that was handled in-house. My expectation is that's going to be a fine for Dwayne Haskins, which could be up to a game check based on COVID protocols agreed to by the NFL and the NFLPA before the season. I don't believe there's going to be a suspension, even though there could be for conduct detrimental to the team. This is the second time that Haskins has violated COVID protocols this season. Earlier brought someone into the team hotel. This is why the league and the PA enacted these rules and these protocols, because they want to make sure that players are not endangering other players by potentially exposing them to COVID. And also Ron Rivera, who recently underwent cancer treatment, which could potentially compromise his immune system. So a lot of folks going to be upset with this inside that Washington building. We'll see what it means for Sunday. I know the team is hopeful that Alex Smith is going to be ready to go after missing last week's game against Seattle.
Okay, so there's a chance we get Alex Smith back. Thank you so much. Garofolo, this is weird that we're in a 2-box and pretending like you're not on the show for 3 hours, but you're here, so we're going to do this thing about the Good Morning Strip Club. I mean, Embassy Row, TM, get that thing going. Okay, Washington sitting in the 4 seed. We'll see how that situation plays out ahead of their game, against the Panthers. Yeah, that one's on Sunday. Wow, another game, huge NFC playoff implications going down on Christmas Day, guys. The Saints sitting in that 2 seed. The Vikings are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Guess what? James Slater has the latest on that one.
After winning 9 straight, the New Orleans Saints have lost their last 2. They're hoping to reverse that latest trend, though, when Minnesota travels to New Orleans to take them on Christmas Day. Now, the Minnesota Vikings defense is not up to the standards that they're used to, according to safety Harrison Smith. 5th in 2019, they are 25th this season. He said, look, the NFL's a business. You've got injuries, but if you are a good player, you take it personally, and you get the sense that he does. Also of note, Drew Brees, who started the game a little rocky, 0 for 6 on his first passing attempts and didn't complete a pass to the second quarter. He says, look, he was just trying to find his rhythm. He feels fine this week. The only challenge, making sure he gets all the recovery that he needs. On a week, you typically get 7 days to prepare for a game. This week, you get 5. That plan already in place.
Okay, thanks so much, James Slater, for that. That's if we're talking any quarterback in the NFC that I'm looking, really in the NFL this week on those Christmas Day games, it is absolutely Drew Brees. I think people love to come out, not on this show as much now, but about his age. He doesn't look good. He doesn't have it anymore. He was chucking it by the end of that game, and he was thrown to a skeleton group of wide receivers who created no separation for him. So I'm looking at him to sort of build off what we saw towards the end of that loss to the Chiefs, right? Even without Michael Thomas, potentially without Traquan Smith, a guy that we have to keep our eyes on here on NFL media. This is a team that is going up, and they're going into the playoffs. They're probably going to go deep. I want to see just some confidence out of Drew Brees, his receivers, some connections there. And it's more so, honestly, the whiteout strays that I want to look at, but Drew Brees just put some of this worry to rest about the rhythm of this offense.
Yeah, look, Brees started off that game shaky. He was 0 for 5. He threw the interception to L'Jarius Sneed, but he looked like he was Joe Montana in his prime compared to Jared Goff. That is the quarterback that I am fascinated to see this week. Goff, a complete egg last week against the Jets. Could not get it going. The first 5 possessions were punt, fumble, interception, just terrible. terrible, terrible game by Jared Goff. And this isn't a rookie quarterback in a big spot. This isn't a backup quarterback. This is a $100 million quarterback in a must-win game against the Jets. Fast forward a couple days, they've got the Seahawks in the NFC West title in the balance in Seattle. Now, the good side of this, McVay and Goff, call it like it is, except for one Thursday night game last year, they own Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. They beat him every single time except once. And yet, I can't say I've got a ton of confidence in Jared Goff right now based on what we saw last week. Jared Goff is a roller coaster. He's up and down, he's up and down, he's up and down. Let's hope that last week was the down and this week is the up, because this Rams team, for as good as their defense is, if Cam Akers is hurt and Jared Goff is playing like that, they might not be able to go anywhere despite the coaching and despite how good Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey might be.
Well, let's stick with the NFC West. I want to talk about Kyler Murray. This is who I'm going to have my eyes on. Kyler Murray, he's going up against the San Francisco 49ers, and this is a rematch from Week 1. And if you remember Week 1, Kyler Murray, he kind of lit the league on fire. It was like, okay, all right. This young man, Kyler Murray, is showing us exactly what we thought he'd be in his sophomore campaign. He went out there in that game against the 49ers. He had 230 yards passing, 91 yards rushing. And remember the connection between the newly acquired DeAndre Hopkins? DeAndre Hopkins had 14 catches for $151 in that game. So with everything on the line right now, with the wild card game on the line, these guys just trying to hold on to that spot. Kyler Murray needing to really mature in front of our eyes. This is where you put the team on your back. This is where you say, okay, this is why I'm your franchise guy. Not only am I not going to let you down, but I'm going to repeat what I did in that Week 1 victory over the 49ers, and I'm going to do it in grand fashion. I'm looking at Kyler Murray in this one. I think he's going to play, and he's going to play big.
Nate, I'm going to tough it out on Saturday. I'm going to risk, bed sores from being on the couch a little too long. I'm going to risk burning my upper lip with some hot chocolate while I watch the game, because I can tough it out if Matthew Stafford can tough it out. And that's the guy I'm going to be watching.
All right.
Playing through his rib cartilage. And the quote the other day, I mean, this is fantastic, asked why he was playing in this game that didn't really mean much for the Lions. He said, quote, because I'm the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. And it was Sunday. And I got a bunch of teammates that work their ass off. They fight to be available and fight to get out there and play and try to help us win. If there's any way I can play, I'm never going to not play. I feel like I owe it to these guys. I owe it to the game. I owe it to the organization, everybody. If I'm good enough to play, healthy enough to play, my ass is going to be out there. To which Taylor Decker retweeted and said, my bleeping quarterback. And I said bleeping because I've already cursed too much for this segment. Matthew Stafford, good on you. I got some bad news, though. Darrell Bevel, your head coach, and some other folks might not be available. Go check Rap Sheet's timeline. I assume that's not going to affect you and you're going to play because your ass is going to be out there. That's 3.
What's the swear jar? What is family show? Holiday week, Christmas. We're talking strip. Good morning.
I'm not on tomorrow anyway.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Garofolo.
Good morning, strip club. Good show.
It's like
Garofolo,
you have a newborn.
spicing it up today.
You have a newborn at home. You've got 2 girls now, and you're like,